After a long-awaited return by very few people, the Shades of Red is back, and this time it is just me, Kraigen, and Levi. And we're just gonna,
Fringe.
yeah, we're just gonna start with a little bit of college football talk. We'll start with the draft analysis. What everyone thought of the draft.
Should we start off with the first pick? Because I
I,
thought it was pretty bold from Jacksonville to take him.
well, he was climbing anyway. I mean,
He was, but still, I don't know if I would have taken him over Hutchinson or Thibodeau for the edge, but
I
that's
think
their guy.
he was taken first because, more or less, because of the combine, right? In the pro days.
Yeah,
Um,
he did test well, so.
Yeah, you can test well at the combine. Doesn't mean you're going to do good, though. I do think Hutchinson or Thibodeau was a better pick there.
Yeah,
I think the problem was that a scout said that he was like a Swiss Army knife, and once you get compared to a Swiss Army knife, you're pretty much locked as the number one pick.
Would they have said the same thing about Jadeveon Clowney?
No way they said that about him. He literally could only do one thing. I mean, they knew that.
Yeah, but then
But yeah, I mean,
Clowney
we'll
was
see.
moved
I
to
mean,
linebacker, so
it's bold to pick someone based off of combine metrics, but we'll see how it works for him. I don't think it'll work good at Jacksonville.
and
Yeah.
I mean Jacksonville had that one good year where they had Ramsey and Bortles and
Yeah, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
yeah, it's true. And then the Lions come up and they get Hutchinson.
Yeah, keep him in Michigan. That's good.
Yeah, I think that was a good pick. I think that's definitely best for them right now.
I like hometown picks in general. I just think it makes not the franchise better, but I think it'll make the atmosphere better with Michigan fans who didn't really care about the Lions, but now
Yeah.
Hutchinson is there, so they might you might see a surge in attendance and like revenue towards them. But the problem is he needs to hold it up, or it's gonna fade away.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the there. Because obviously, local guy, you're getting pretty much local values with the fans to connect to, so good pick for them.
Yeah. Now, how do we feel about Derek Stingley Jr. at pick 3 to the Texans?
I like it a lot. I actually had him mocked there, so.
Nice.
I personally think that he is. I think if you didn't have, I mean, this is a hypothetical, obviously, but I think if you didn't have Aiden Hutchinson, like the edges that this class had, how they're so heavy, I think Stingley would have been the number one pick.
I'm not so sure about that because of the tackles, but yeah, I could see it.
Well,
it wouldn't be.
I think Levi may be right because Jacksonville is so lacking defensively. Actually, they just lack everywhere.
Yeah.
So really,
I just think
number
Stingley
one
is the most talented player in the draft.
Yeah, Stingley's been talked about since high school for the draft, so.
I just think he's the most talented player in the draft, and that doesn't necessarily mean he's the best player. I just think talent-wise,
talent-wise, it's hard to argue.
He was the best one.
He's been touted for a time.
So you have other DBs that I think were better in college. Probably the only, I guess the only one that I think of that would be better in college was probably Gardner from Cincinnati who went after him.
Yeah.
But I think your upside with Stingley is a lot higher.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
he got injury at LSU, too, so that kept him out for a little bit. So.
And the very next pick, the Jets. At the very next pick, the Jets took another defensive back, Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati, as you were just saying.
Yeah.
So I think he's good, but I think it's a risk.
I don't know that it necessarily is a risk, but I get he's coming from a G5 school. They did play Georgia last year in the bowl game, though, and then they played Alabama in the playoffs. He did well in both games. Didn't allow a touchdown in college.
Yeah, and so, I mean, here's my two things with that. One, Georgia, in terms of measuring a defensive back, isn't really a good school to do it.
Yeah.
And Alabama has so many targets that they can afford not to look at wherever Gardner's at.
Yeah.
Because they're terribly mismatched at every other position. And so, I mean, I'm not saying he's not good. I think he's really good, but
he's got good measurables, good size, good athleticism for a corner.
I think in terms of the top 10, I think he's the biggest risk. Actually, no, sorry, second biggest. Trayvon Walker is the biggest risk.
Yeah, Trayvon Walker, I could see being. I mean, he went to a really good defensive school. Trayvon did.
Yeah, but when you
but
were
he had
talking
a lot of help on that defense.
When you're talking about that Georgia team last year and talking about the defensive line, the majority of what was said was how much that defensive line gets help from Jordan Davis taking up so many blockers.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And so now to turn around and take a guy who benefited from Jordan Davis as the number one pick, I think is a risk.
Well, he benefited from Jordan Davis, and then he looked good at the combine. And so the only film they had on him, really, from this past year, was with him getting help from Jordan Davis.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, if you're mid as a player, but you got all the measurements of the combine, now you're the number one pick. I'm not saying Trayvon Walker's mid, but this is why I don't like the combine.
There are better players.
Players will somehow just skyrocket because they could stand and do a 40-inch vertical.
John Ross skyrocketed because he could run a 4.3 or a 4.2 40. Yeah.
I mean, players skyrocket for the bizarrest things.
Yeah, they do.
And
all as well. So
I'm not saying Trayvon Walker's bad, but if there was not a combine this year, he would not be the number one pick.
You're right. He may have been a first rounder, but it'd been late first or early second.
I mean, he was definitely a first round pick. I think it would have been mid to later first round.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden to do a 4.2 shuttle run, and now you're apparently now better than Hutchinson and Stingley and Thibodeau. Bizarre.
So of those three, he's the least real NFL ready. He needs a little bit of work before he can really.
He's the least NFL ready of every top 10 player.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, top 15. I think even once you go past 10, there are some really good players taken, like Olave and Williams and Davis and Hamilton.
See, a lot of people were really high on Hamilton, but a lot of people said that Hamilton was overrated and really not all that.
I thought Hamilton was a top 5 prospect.
I mean, I went to a Notre Dame game, but I didn't really watch Hamilton all that much. I mean, I didn't go to Notre Dame. It was at Virginia Tech, but still.
He was a top 5 prospect for a while. I mean, there's so many reasons that players fall or rise, and there's never a rhyme or reason to it.
I mean, Hamilton fell because other players rose. Like that's all that was.
Yeah,
I mean, he fell simply because of the position that he plays.
Yeah.
that's all. I had him marked at 12 to Vikings before they traded their pick away.
And that's the thing is here's the thing is I think Kyle Hamilton, along with Stingley, is one of the most talented players in the draft. In terms of like talent, play on the field, and athleticism. But the thing is, Stingley is listed as a DB, which means that he is open to playing cornerback and safety.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
Hamilton is listed as only safety.
Yeah,
so
safety not as much of
unless you need a safety, you're not willing to work with it, and so I think that could have hurt him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Levi, what do you think about pick 6?
I think that's the best player in the draft.
How do you pronounce his name?
Ikem Ekwonu.
Okay, Ekwonu. All right.
I mean, the only places I did not want him to go were Houston and the Jets.
Yeah.
Because I knew that he would be gone before. I thought the farthest he would fall would be 7 to the Giants.
Yeah.
I knew he was gone before then, so I wasn't worried about the Falcons. But I was just hoping that he didn't go to Texans or Jets.
Oh, that's another home state player.
Yeah. I mean,
great pick for Carolina too.
I mean, he's gonna have a tough first year having to guard the immobile object known as Sam Darnold. But I think. See, I still think Panthers are prepared. I don't think there's an urge to win this season.
Yeah, no.
No, definitely not.
I think if they go 2-15, they will be perfectly fine with that and draft a quarterback. So, I don't think it would be. Some of these players, I don't think it would be fair to judge them on their first year, and he's one of them. I don't think it's fair to judge Gardner on his first year.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be fair to judge players like Hutchinson and Thibodeau and Walker and Drake London on their first years.
No, you can't really, judge those receivers and running backs on their first year.
Nah, here's the thing. If you're taking Drake London before Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams,
you're putting a lot on him.
There needs to be instant productivity.
Yeah.
And he might do it.
I mean, granted, the Falcons don't have much at receiver anyway.
No, because isn't Calvin Ridley gone?
No, he just took last year off. He's still there.
No, he got suspended, didn't he?
Oh, that's right. He was betting. He took half the season off and was betting. Yeah, that's right.
Drake London's going to be expected to step up immediately because
Yeah.
they don't have any.
Because their target right now is basically Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cordero Patterson.
I do like London. Good, but it's going to be a lot of responsibility on him, especially being a top 10 pick.
I don't know if he was really the best receiver in this draft to go that high.
I don't think he was.
I think he was number 1, but
I thought he was 5 at best.
Yeah, 4 or 5 maybe.
I thought they must have saw something they liked in him. I don't know.
I thought Garrett Wilson, Olave, Williams. I personally would have had Treylon Burks higher, but I guess 4 is respectable for Drake London.
I don't know how well Garrett Wilson did, but I know Chris Olave was a good pick.
Yeah, he's going to be Jameis Winston, gunslinging it. He's going to get a lot of opportunity to get the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on if Michael Thomas decides that he's going to play this year or whatever the fuck he's doing.
Michael Thomas did welcome him to New Orleans, so maybe he will play.
Yeah, Michael Thomas is a Twitter.
Garrett Wilson's issue is quarterback consistency, I guess.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, we saw it last year. Zach Wilson wasn't great.
Like he started off cool. Like Zach Wilson started the year like kind of bad, and then he got hurt. And what the dude with the most generic name ever comes in,
Mike White.
Mike White, yeah, from Western Kentucky, comes in and he does pretty good for 2 games. Then they bench him again for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson comes in and he's red hot for the rest of the season.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting there to watch what the Jets do, but they did need a wide receiver. They took Elijah Moore last year. He's good, but he's more of a slot guy. So
I don't think they're prepared to throw the ball that much. Only saying that because you already had the running backs you had, and then you drafted Breece Hall.
Yeah.
So I think they're maybe aiming for a stronger running game.
Michael Carter's a good running back though. Like he's good all around out of the backfield.
Oh yeah, Carter and Hall will be a great duo. They're both really good.
I think he's great, but I don't think he's your 20 carries a game back that you're looking for.
Carter?
No, I don't think so. I think the only one from that class that is Javonte Williams.
Why is that?
He's a workhorse, dude.
Because he's a Bronco?
Nah, dude, trust me. If he was a Bronco and he was ass, I'd say his ass.
Yeah.
But he, like...
But yeah, I do really like Williams. He's good.
You watch Javonte and, like, he's in the backfield and you're like, oh, he's wrapped up. And all of a sudden, he's still running. He's still going. And
he needs more touches.
So I think he's good. But I like Breece Hall to the Jets too. I think they're stacking up on offense, which will be exciting. I think
building part is just a matter of they can actually get results and start performing on the field. I like their draft they're doing, but I like their staff. It's just a matter altogether.
It's a good call. I mean, you're in a big market.
Yeah.
And offense brings money.
Oh, yeah absolutely. Offense sells tickets. You're right.
Oh, yeah. People like pretty...
All right. The controversial pick of the first round, I guess kind of. There were several, but this one, a lot of people were very... I mean, even fans of this team were happy and also upset at the same time. Kenny Pickett to the Steelers. A lot of people didn't like this pick. I guess because he was a 10-year Pitt graduate. He's coming out at the age of 31. You know, he's going to be... He's got small hands. Who was the last person they said about that? Kyler Murray said he had small hands or something like that? Or Russell Wilson?
No, they just said Russell Wilson was small.
Yeah, that's right. He was short. They said somebody had small hands and couldn't throw the ball or something like that.
They said that about a ton of people.
There was somebody really recently that had that, but I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
Like the last draft or before or something like that.
And it could be effing anybody at this point.
Yeah.
The sizes that they come up with get bigger over time.
Yeah. I did have Pickett going at 20 to Pittsburgh, so I like and fit with him and everything. And then another local pick, Pitt to Pitt. So.
Yeah, this is like really same city pick. Yeah, I mean same facilities, same stadium. Only differences are teammates and your jersey color.
I love the pick for all those reasons. I think it's the execution part. Steelers, historically under Mike Tomlin, are horrible with quarterbacks that they draft.
Yeah, that's true.
And so we'll see. The last quarterback that they drafted in the first round obviously was Ben Roethlisberger, and they got 2 Super Bowls out of it.
But that wasn't under Tomlin. That was under Cowher.
Yes, but what I'm saying is the last one that they even drafted.
Oh, yeah.
It worked out. And so I think that I don't think Kenny starts this year. I think they wait to see. I think this is shaping up to be exactly how Mitch Trubisky entered the league, where Bears signed Mike Glennon, then drafted Trubisky, and then it was basically just a competition.
I think,
Yep.
and I think Kenny Pickett is more NFL ready than Trubisky was, because Trubisky was coming like 1 year starting out of college. Kenny Pickett's been starting the last 3.
Trubisky was like the least ready NFL first round quarterback I've ever seen.
And he went like what, number 2 overall?
Except the only one I can think of that was less NFL ready would be like EJ Manuel.
Yes, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And Bills took him at like pick 15 or something like that.
That's the only one I can think of. So I think Trubisky will be the starter week 1. How long he starts, I don't know. I think Pickett. I think it's a good pick. Thing is, but usually when we have these hometown picks that we talk about, it's bringing fans into the stadium. It's reigniting the fan base. But Steelers already sell out every game. They have a good fan base. So for him, it's about executing.
Yeah, it's just about getting their guy. And
I think what the Steelers really liked about Pickett was that he can throw the ball, and he's proved it in college over the last 6 years. And and he can be mobile. He can run around and make a play if he needs to.
Yeah,
he can do the fake slide.
Yeah, the fake slide.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's an all right pick. I've really not got nothing against it. I like Pickett. Now, I did watch Virginia Tech completely shut Pickett down in 2019, and we won that game. I think it was 28-0. It was Bud Foster's next to last home game.
2019.
Yeah,
it's a long time ago.
I know it was 2 years ago, and I think Pickett.
That was before COVID.
I believe Pickett burned us in 2020 pretty bad, and then last year,
Burned everybody.
Pitt handled us last year.
I mean, he threw 42 touchdowns last year. I mean, he was on fire.
Yeah, I swear, I watched him beat UCF when UCF was really hot. I watched him beat Tennessee last year, even though that was Tennessee's fault, not Pitt being good.
Yeah, I think another day that goes another way. I think if they played again this year, I think Tennessee's going to rock Pitt this year.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. Tennessee last year, Joe Milton missed 5 guys who were wide open, 20 to 30 yards downfield. And then he got hurt. They put Hendon Hooker in, and then he did the same thing with 3 guys 20 to 30 yards downfield. But Hendon Hooker got better as the season went.
Yeah. I think if Hooker started originally, I think that they would have won that game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Started the season, not the game.
Yeah,
I
think they would have won
going in. So he did finish.
Hooker just got so much better as the year went on last year.
Yeah, and I do think Tennessee's building well too. They're starting to do a little better. So
who do y'all think was the best and worst pick of the first round?
I definitely think. Oh, man, that's tough.
I can say mine first since I proposed the question.
Yeah, sure.
I think the best first round pick of this draft in terms of like everything, because I mean, I think in my personal opinion, I think Stingley's the best player in my opinion in the draft. But I think for the best in terms of value and everything, I personally think that the Lions have the best pick with Jameson Williams at 12.
Yeah.
All right.
I think if Williams didn't tear his ACL, he is not falling out of the top 10.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, he's first receiver off the board.
Well, I think, and this is a little bit of a higher pick, so maybe it's not that much of a surprise. But I think, given what the team needed, where they were really lacking, something that could make them better now, I think Evan Neal was a great pick for the Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same thing. I liked both the Giants picks. I think they hit it on the head with 5 and 7 with
I
Thibodeau
agree.
and
Yeah.
Neal.
Now, are they
'cause
going to
this
win more than
year,
7 games this year? Probably not, but still.
because I think in this class,
Yeah.
there's a lot of debate about who the best tackle was. I mean, I think Iquanu, obviously biased, was the best, but
Yeah,
it's
same
hard to
with Neal.
argue for one over the other. And I think they kind of 1A and 1B at that point.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
get the best tie for best tackle at the 7th pick and a tackle heavy class.
Yeah.
Well, I think if he was still on the board, if the Giants had to pick between Iquanu and Neal, they probably would have taken Iquanu. But
I don't think that choice wouldn't even be an option at 7. Because
no,
Panthers,
it wouldn't have been. You're right. But they definitely got what they needed because they've been lacking hard on the offensive line for 4 years.
And here's my thing is Giants didn't care which one they got between them. Because if they did, they would have taken Thibodeau. Or they wouldn't have taken Thibodeau at 5.
You're right. That's true.
And so they were more concerned with the edge than the tackle.
Yeah.
And so Giants were content with either Iquanu or Neal at 7.
Yeah.
All right, now the worst pick of the first round.
I mean, it has to go to the Patriots.
Yeah, Cole Strange.
It's a strange pick.
It is a very strange pick.
For Washington.
I don't get it.
He's a first-round receiver. Jahan Dotson to Washington. I don't think he's a first-round receiver.
Tyler Smith was a bad pick for the Cowboys, but it wasn't as bad as Cole Strange.
Yeah, Cole Strange is by far. I think from there, you could probably say Tyler Smith was probably a little early.
Like he's probably got good size and everything, but he's just not disciplined. He just causes too many penalties.
Well, it's not even that. Is that a guy that you couldn't just trade it up for in the second round? Got
maybe even
Like was somebody really going to draft Tyler Smith?
Honestly, you probably didn't even have to trade up in the second round for him. You probably could have waited till your pick in the second round.
I mean, he was at like 40th prospect. And so, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could, but you didn't need to. Like Cole Strange, he was like, I think he was like 73rd or something. Like,
he was farther than that because there was a graphic that came up when the Patriots picked him, and there was a 93% chance that he would be available at their next pick.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Grade, so.
I mean, he's going to probably end up being a fucking all pro because it's Bill Belichick. But like,
fans just like more because they know it's going to work. But
you kind of waited to get Cole Strange. I mean, were you that concerned that someone's going to take Cole Strange?
Yeah.
All right. Is that it for the draft analysis? Just through the first round?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Who do you think won the draft overall? Like, who do you think had the best draft through all 7?
Giants.
I think the Giants. Giants had a pretty good draft.
Yeah, Giants did. I think Ravens had a really good draft.
Yeah,
they tailed a little bit towards the end, but I think they had a really good.
Also forget they got Tyler Linderbaum in the first round also.
Yeah, Linderbaum, and who'd they pick first? It was
Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton. Yeah, both really good picks. I really like that.
It's a good one. I thought the Texans had a decent one. I probably would have taken Kenyon Green with their second pick of the first round, but a lot of worse things that they could have done.
I liked Green Bay taking Christian Watson in the second round. I think that was a really good pick. I watched him play in several games. I mean, the man is just like he's got crazy speed. He's elusive. He can move.
And it's fun because he's everything that Green Bay's never had in a receiver.
Yeah.
They've never had a speedy deep threat wide receiver. It's always been you're the route running or you're a little dinky slot receiver.
Little dink and dunk.
Devontae Adams is all route.
Yeah, and so Jordy Nelson was that little slot receiver that people just forgot about.
Greg Jennings.
I mean, the only one that you could even argue that was Valdez Scantling, but still, I mean, if that's your top for like speed and deep threat, I like him. He went to NC State, but
Adams, but he's a different profile than him for sure.
They had the speed, but their aim wasn't just that. And so, with Christian Watson doing that, they're going to be able to spread the field really nicely. And so, it'll be nice. It'll be fun to see what Rodgers does with that.
I agree.
Yeah.
What do you think about Malik Willis going to Tennessee?
I think it was a good pick for as far as he fell. They just took a chance on him and said, hey, let's develop this guy, which I think is a good pick. I really like the Titans draft, too. They did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, Tannehill's not your franchise guy.
Yeah, no. He's just in.
Tannehill is a game manager. He's a lot like Alex Smith was.
And I think at that point, it's kind of like, well, he's already fallen this far. Why not risk it?
Yeah.
They're definitely not in the business of losing next season. And so they're not looking at, getting a high draft quarterback. But the thing is, with the quarterbacks that we have coming out next year, it's a deep class. And so
I think Hendon Hooker will be really good coming out next year. If he keeps developing and shows what he can do this season.
Yeah, he could be.
I think he'll be a high pick next year.
I mean, you have Bryce Young, you have C.J. Stroud, you have Hendon Hooker, you have Sam Hartman, you have Devin Leary, you have apparently Will Levis is not God, so you have Will Levis.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, what about Malik Cunningham? He's coming out next year, yeah.
Yeah, Cunningham is.
Yeah.
I like him. He's a poverty Lamar Jackson, but
he is.
He does
he's
what he
bigger
does.
Though, right? Like he's more built.
Yeah, he's a little bit thicker.
Yeah,
he's a thick boy. But I mean, when they played us last year, obviously I was there. I thought he was impressive. For him, it's just about consistency.
Now you mentioned. Now I'm going back to the NFL. The comment you made a minute ago. You mentioned the most unmobile quarterback in Sam Darnold, and they didn't really gain any mobility, but they also drafted Matt Corral.
Yeah.
Who at the very least is a little more accurate. So, how long do you think it is before we see him take the field over Darnold?
It'll be a battle day one from the camp perspective, I think. So
yeah, I think when you're paying Sam Darnold that much, it's not a discussion.
I don't know. The Bears paid Glennon out the wazoo.
But he started.
Yeah, for 8 games.
But
and then Trubisky came in and did worse.
But I mean, that's 8 games though. You still gave him the choice. I think Darnold definitely starts. I think if it gets to the point where Matt Rule thinks that if he doesn't start Corral, he's fired, I think that's when it happens.
That's fair. That's probably true.
Yeah.
But they'd probably have to go like 0-7 or 0-8 by that time.
If they're 0-7, he's fired. He doesn't have that long of a leash.
Not with that roster. They're decent enough not to go 0-7.
No.
They've built well, the defense especially.
You have to be really bad to go 0-7.
They drafted Amari Barno in the 6th round, and don't get me wrong, people were like a lot of Tech fans were high on Amari Barno because he was one of our linebackers, edge kind of guys. But I mean, he had one good game against UNC where he had like 2.5 sacks, and then did crap the rest of the year. Like you didn't hear his name again until like week 8 or 9.
Yeah, with Corral and Darnold too.
Now Jermaine Waller, on the other hand, the cornerback who was taken in the 6th or 7th round, that dude is a monster. Jermaine Waller, where did he go? He was a shutdown corner at Tech. Let's see. Did he go in the 6th? Let me look here. This is like looking at the 2016 draft again, where all our players went in the 6th, 7th round.
See, I personally don't think any team made a bad decision with their quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't either. I think they all went to a pretty reasonable, place in about where they should have gone.
Yeah, I had Ritter going to the Falcons just a round earlier than he actually did. So,
I mean, when I look at him, it's like I can imagine that player. They fit in with that team.
Yeah.
Foul, poverty. He went to Washington. Perfect.
Yeah.
Ritter just comes off as a Falcons quarterback. It's not even meant as an insult, but he just seems like he would be a Falcons quarterback. Crowd of the Panthers just works. Bailey Zapp to the Patriots it just works.
Yeah.
All right, so Jermaine Waller ended up not getting drafted, and I couldn't tell you why. I guess the draft was super corner heavy, but Jermaine Waller he played really well at Tech, and he didn't give up much. But he's on the Lions now.
Oh yeah, I was just did he get signed after the draft?
Yeah, he got signed after.
Nice.
And then Trey Turner, the big play Trey, as a lot of Texans called him, because I mean he made huge plays. He had a block punt against UVA in 2019 that helped win the game, which is super stressful to watch. And he had several huge touchdowns. He mossed a lot of guys, but he didn't do enough because Justin Fuente didn't throw the ball. It was all running. So he didn't get drafted. Now, if he had done something, maybe he would have been drafted, but he wasn't given opportunity. So he fell. I don't think he had a year. I think he had 1 year where he had more than 600 receiving yards. Even our tight end, James Mitchell, got drafted by the Lions in the 6th or 7th round. 5th round, actually.
Yeah.
But he tore his ACL last year. He would have been drafted higher had he not torn his ACL in game 1.
Does Mitchell get tore his ACL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all want to move it into top 10 for college?
Yeah, let's do it. Do you want to do one by one like we used to, or do you want to do someone goes through all 10 and then next person all 10?
We could. I mean, just because it's preseason, I think just one person goes through their top 10.
All right.
I mean, there's not much to debate about right now. I mean, there is, but it's just kind of like an opinion at this point.
Well, I've got a top 5 and then everybody else, really.
Which top 5?
I think you've got to put Alabama at 1. I would put Ohio State at 2 and Georgia at 3. I forgot who my 4 was, but Tennessee's 5.
Tennessee? What the fuck?
That's a little bold.
They didn't lose a whole lot. They lost, one receiver, 1 corner?
Still.
Granted, the receiver they
It's
lost
hard to
was
put
their workhorse and
it's hard to
Velus Jones
put
Jr.
Tennessee at 5 when they have to play Georgia and Alabama.
I mean, they do, but they'll finish
I
third
just
in
don't,
the
I don't think
SEC.
I don't think they're number 5 team. I think they'll be good, but I don't think that they're 5.
No, I think they're top 10 regardless.
I don't know about that. Decent dark horse.
You can put them in 5. I mean, I don't
I
think
can
they'll.
go.
I don't think they'll beat Alabama at all. But
I can go through my top 10.
okay,
So my number 1, obviously, is NC State.
right.
And no, I'm just kidding. My number 1, like Joey said, is Alabama. My number 2, actually, my 1 and 3 are the same as Joey. 1 Alabama, 2 Ohio State, 3 Georgia.
Yeah.
My number 4 is USC. I think that Lincoln Riley is really good at being a first-year coach, and he brought the actual good players with him from
That's
Oklahoma.
true. To be fair,
Yeah.
And so I think that they'll be good in a really poverty conference. My number 5 is Michigan. My 6 is Texas A&M. My 7 is Notre Dame.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I know you don't know about that one. I'm not even arguing with you about Notre Dame because they're just not going to get anywhere. It's going to be 2 people just saying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So Notre Dame
7.
7. Don't care what Joey says. My 8 is Oklahoma State. My 9 is Utah. And my 10 is NC State.
Nice.
That's fair. I'd probably put Miami
So who
at
was
10.
But who at 10?
Miami. Preseason.
I think
there's a lot of hype around them. I don't think they'll do that good. Their head coach is an idiot. But
I think you're going to find that rankings this year, ACC had a really bad year last year in terms of football. But it's looking really high up now with Miami coming out, NC State returning a ton of people, Wake Forest returning a ton of people. Clemson's always going to be good somehow because of defense. Yeah. So, I mean, you might find a lot of ACC teams, especially in the top 15 next year.
Who's Clemson's new defensive coordinator? There's one to Oklahoma.
But Clemson also they're always a deep defensive team, so it doesn't really matter how many they bring back. I think they brought back 5 starters.
I don't care who they brought back. I want to know who's controlling their defense.
Well, probably Dabo Swinney.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And then they brought back 10 starters on offense, which offense wasn't good last year, but maybe they synchronize a little bit better with more time together.
Yeah.
I mean, if DJ has developed and actually progressed in the offseason,
it doesn't matter.
Maybe.
DJ Ukulele has 0 things about whether the offense is good. What matters with that offense is if Will Shipley is healthy.
Yeah.
I think Will Shipley is the best player in the ACC.
I read something, and I don't remember what it was, or who said it, or what. It may have been freaking, what's his name? Chad Kelly. What's his name?
Chad Kelly, LSU the Ole Miss quarterback.
What?
The LSU head coach, or
yeah.
Brad Kelly.
Thank you. I couldn't remember his name. I thought it was Brad, but anyway, I think he said something like, I believe it was leaked, or he tweeted about it, that Notre Dame only put in Hamilton to be the head coach because he's been there, yada yada, but he's just there to be fired.
Which is crazy because all of the players literally backed him too.
I know,
Like they were
but
all.
he was talking about how he wasn't that good.
I think that doubt was squandered when the way that they played for him in the bowl game.
Yeah, the way the program has reacted to his hire, I don't think there's no credit to what Kelly said. I think so.
Well,
He's
Ted
a
got fired
fucking
up when her.
senile old man. He's rubbing his cock up against players and circle camera fucking videos. He's
Look,
fucking
look.
weird.
Yeah.
Nothing
Recruiting video.
against LSU, right? But I hope the absolute
Oh,
worst
everything
for
against
Brad
LSU.
Kelly.
Everything against LSU, dude.
I
His name is
hate Brad
Brian
Kelly.
Kelly, first of all.
I hope they fold, but that's good. It's Brian, not Brad, by the way. Just
Oh
remember
well,
that.
whatever. I don't like Brian Kelly. Period.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
my top.
I don't like him either.
So my top 10. Let's get back on track a little bit. We all have the same top 3. I've got Alabama at 1, Ohio State at 2, and Georgia at 3. Just because I don't know that Georgia will be as inept to replace everybody on defense that they lost.
Wait,
Credit to them, they had 5 guys taken most ever on the defensive side of the ball in the first round. So that's
quick
insane.
note, not to disrupt, but it just came to mind. That's because I did it earlier today. I think Georgia doesn't win the first game of the season.
Who do they play?
They play at Oregon. Or they play, I think it's at Oregon, isn't it?
No, they beat Oregon.
No, they play Oregon this year.
Yeah, Oregon's not that good. They're going to beat
I
Oregon.
think it's in Oregon, isn't it? Because Georgia Tech plays Clemson in Atlanta. Oh, no, it's in Atlanta. Never mind. They win.
Yeah, I think regardless, but
If it goes out of Oregon, I think they would lose just because first week college football does some stupid shit.
yeah, maybe. But I don't trust Oregon right now. I don't like them.
I don't trust Washington. How about that?
All right, and then at 4, I have Michigan. I think they could maybe find their rhythm and hold a place in the top 4 this year and see how Harbaugh does. So they did lose. Did they just lose Hassan Haskins, or did they lose the other running back too? Did both of them for just one?
I can check, but I think it was just Hassan that they lost.
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw he was drafted, but I didn't see the other guy. So yeah, if he's back, I think it could be good.
Their starting running back is Blake Corum.
Yeah, so he is back. Nice. So that should be a good starting place for them to just keep pounding the rock. And
they brought back McNamara.
Yeah, so another year with McNamara, it's good. I think they do have some pretty high upside this year. Then North Carolina State at 5.
Hey!
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's on you.
That's on me. What I do?
That's on baby.
At 6,
I see him as high as 4. I think we'll be good. I don't know. I'm not ready.
Yeah. I don't trust NC State enough to put them in the top 10. They always do something dumb.
They do.
What if that's the thing is if this NC State team literally just had a different name, they would be a top 5 team. But it's just NC State.
Yeah, it's NC State.
NC State.
Yeah. Then at 6, I have Utah. I think they're the best team in the pack.
USC.
No. I think Riley will have a good first year, like Levi said, but I don't think they're first. I think Utah still controls the conference.
Are they in the same division?
They are, both in the South, so only one of them.
That's going to be a really good game.
Oh, yeah. That'll be a blast. It'll be Lincoln Riley an offensive mind versus Kyle Whittingham a defensive mind. So, and they keep losing defensive guys after defensive guys getting drafted at Utah, and then they just keep replacing them.
Well, you know what they say. Offense wins championships.
And then number 7, I have Oklahoma State.
That's a good pick.
Yeah. 8, I have Texas A&M. They did lose a lot of the guys to the draft, but I think they're on the right track for sure. They're building well. They had the top class, didn't they? or close.
Those are freshmen, dog. I don't trust Texas A&M like y'all trust Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I put Baylor at that spot or Tennessee 1. Holy moly.
Yeah, I don't really trust Baylor either, though. But
did they lose anyone to the draft?
Baylor? Who cares?
Baylor, yeah.
Who fucking cares?
They had a safety drafted.
They finished. You're right, Levi. They finished 5th last year nationally, which I know doesn't mean anything now.
Yeah,
I mean they
could definitely be. I don't have them in my top 10 right now, but they could definitely be if they stay with that momentum that they won. Their coach is really good.
Just a quick note.
Yeah.
If you're by a TV, I would strongly suggest turning on the Bruins versus. Like we're getting like there's like 7 people in the penalty box. Like the goalkeeper just slapped someone in the face. Almost no, he slapped him in the chest. Like we're getting like prime time hockey rivalry here. It's great. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. At 9, a little bit of controversy here. It's not Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But it is Texas.
No. Why?
Yeah. No. I just trust their coaching. Their coaches are really good. I like their coaches on both offense and defense. Pete Kwiatkowski on defense. He's old Washington, D.C. He's a monster. He's going to have the guys flying at Texas soon. So I think last year they started to get a little bit of momentum, but not like people were expecting, I think. Although it's Texas, so
is this
that they're
like you're like an advanced dick writer of Steve Sarkisian?
I was about to get to Steve Sarkisian as well, so yes. Both Sarkisian and Kwiatkowski on each side of the ball, they're just ridiculous coordinators. So I think Texas is going in the right direction. I don't know. 9 might be top 10, probably premature for sure right now, but they're getting there, I think. I really do trust their coaching staff. It's just a matter of will they get the backing from the school and the boosters, and will they be able to actually produce on the field with their guys?
Who's your number 10?
Number 10, USC.
That's fair. I like it. I like Cammy's top 10 a lot better than Levi's. For one reason.
Notre Dame?
There's no Notre Dame.
I do think of our top 10s, Texas is definitely the worst pick, but I'm just a little high on their coaching staff, so it's just a matter of them getting their guys in, I think.
Who's the one dark horse team you could see sneaking up out of nowhere this year and doing something? Like maybe not finishing like top 4, but maybe finishing in the top 10, but expected not to do so hot.
Expected not to do so hot?
Maybe.
Gotcha. So
like one of those like kind of mid teams, but might have an easy schedule.
Well, not easy schedule, but Arkansas.
That's a good one. That's a good pick.
No.
About top 5 for them, but top 10 for sure. Dark horse.
Levi, who's yours?
No, wait. I have to say no to that.
You what?
I have to say no to that, and it's not because Arkansas is a bad team at all.
Yeah.
Arkansas just
their schedule.
They have a tough schedule this year.
Yeah.
They open with Cincinnati, which is going to be a tough game, regardless of the players that they lost. Yeah. They have to go to Texas A&M this year, which they're not a very good away team.
Yeah. And
they have to lose to Alabama. They have to lose to Alabama. I'm sorry, they just do.
Yeah.
And then they have a mid-season.
They took us to overtime last year, so.
They have a mid-season away game to BYU.
Oh, yeah. BYU's a tough school to play, but
they're a tough play. Mid-season form in Brigham Young. I mean, that place is going to be rocking. So I think I don't think it's just even because Arkansas is bad. I just think they have way too tough of a schedule this year to.
That's fair.
Fair play to
Cincinnati. So.
If they do, fair play to them because that'd be impressive.
Yeah.
But I just think they have way too tough a schedule to do it. I mean, how mid are we talking?
Just not someone who's not really in the top 15 right now, top 20.
I mean, are we talking like Power 5 only?
No.
I mean, I think BYU could end up doing something.
Yeah. Although they're running back to the draft, but
they kept
about racing guys too. So
I mean, they lost their running back, and that's going to be losing is not going to be good. But they kept 19 of 21 starters on offense and defense, or 19 of 22 starters on offense and defense.
Yeah,
They
only
lost the running back and then a tackle and a center, I believe, or a tight end, and they kept everybody on defense.
Nice.
So I think that they could. Yeah. If we're talking like really mid that nobody's even like predicted them top 10 or even like being ranked.
Yeah, they went like 5-0 versus the Pac-2 last year. They just.
I mean, if we're really going like really dark horse,
I think that's a good shout for sure.
I think that I guess two options that I would throw out there for like mega dark horse would be Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they can get by Miami. And then I think another one, as much as we meme him, I think
Nebraska.
Adrian Martinez might work at Kansas State.
Yeah. Nebraska's close. They
2 a.m. baby.
So
I think
games. So
I think that's another one that could work out.
Yeah, that could finally turn the corner, maybe. But
Nebraska was a touchdown away in 11 of 12 games last year from being 11-1.
Yeah. So they just got to that corner and hit the next level.
I think Nebraska's a really good pick there.
We'll also have to see. I mean, it's a good one, but
they play in a division too, so
Scott Frost moment.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how Casey Thompson does.
Yeah. He's the Texas transfer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now what about a team that's just kind of expected to do better than their expectation? Just a team to exceed expectations.
Team to exceed expectations?
Yeah, for me it's Rutgers.
Yeah. It's a decent shot. I don't know. How do people feel about Oklahoma now? I think they could do a little bit of something.
I think their defense will be better, but they're going to have to score a lot. They lost
to the transfer portal, but so I think they still could be top 20, top 15 team easily.
I don't know, actually, because their defense is going to have to readjust to everything now and relearn.
Yeah, that's true. They will have a new system, so there'll be some learning curves.
Dark horse teams, or just exceed expectations, you said?
Yeah, just exceed it. All right, South Carolina, I think, would be a good one, too.
No, that's tough.
Well, they might actually have a quarterback this year, is what I'm saying.
They got Rattler, right?
Yeah, they got Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, no, they're going to go 0-12. Yeah, they could be good, but I just don't trust South Carolina. I like their coach, but they're like Arkansas, but not as good.
I like the coach too. It's a shame he's not at Virginia Tech. But Virginia Tech fans hate him. Ridiculous.
Actually, you know what? I got mine.
What is it?
I think, you know what? I'm going to say Iowa.
That's fair.
I think I make a run this year. Obviously,
they were close last year, so
due to zero Spencer Petras, but I think that they can get something done.
All right. So that's top 10 talk, a little bit of, teams to watch, I guess.
So here's one thing I also throw out there. I've seen a lot of like preseason rankings for teams, and one that always comes up in the top 10 is Michigan State.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to be pretty poverty, if I'm going to be honest.
I think they'll be hurting a lot.
I think that, they obviously they had really good defense last year. That's pretty much Michigan State is really good defense, and I'll never take that away from them.
Yeah. And then
they were single-handedly winning games because of Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I mean, that was obvious. When teams shut down Kenneth Walker, they had nothing.
You were losing a lot of yards. You were losing a lot of touchdowns, a lot of field goals that he, got them
into position.
Picking, but got them in position. So you're losing a lot of points, and he didn't score many. And so, I don't see it. I mean, maybe, have someone lined up that can do it. I don't see it. I think that if we talk about teams that are going to underperform, I think Michigan State is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Florida will underperform.
Okay, that's another one. I saw a mock draft where Anthony Richardson went 8th.
No.
Why? Where? Like, what?
Yeah, we saw this. There was was it the Sooner fan that did that?
No, it was the dude from Pro Football Focus.
Like, he's an idiot.
Yeah. I don't get what, am I watching a different college football?
Yeah, he's the guy that did Will Levis too, right?
No, he's the one. Yeah, he had Will Levis. So he had CJ Stroud first. He had Will Levis second. He had Bryce Young third, and he had DJ Ukulele fourth. Where? What the fuck is going on? Which means that he didn't have Will Anderson in his top 4, which I think is
ridiculous. He was easily a dark horse Heisman candidate last year.
And so I was just like,
he had numbers for it. So
I'm just like, where the fuck are these people? Like,
Pro Football Focus and Bleacher Report are two things I will not look at, and anything that Big Game Boomer puts out, I refuse to take any of that stuff seriously. It's all a joke.
Like,
unless they have my agenda, I don't care about them.
Like, even you're hired as an analyst. There's no you can't convince me that you saw something in Anthony Richardson last year.
No self-respect.
I'm sorry. There's just no way you can convince me. And Will Levis. I don't get the Will Levis thing.
I do really love to hire that Florida head coach, but I don't know that they'll actually give him time to actually build a program because it's Florida. So
yeah,
we talked about that briefly with the coaching carousel last time we were on.
I think Napier's a good coach, but he definitely needs 4 years to make Florida good.
Yeah, because they got to get rid of a bunch of guys that are just dead weight and stuff. And then,
yeah. I mean, he's going to need guys who fit his system.
Yeah.
All right, Heisman talk. Top 5 Heisman runners for next year. Feed them to me. Obviously, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are going to be there.
Yeah, I've got them at 1 and 2. Stroud at 1 because he's got Jackson Smith and Jigba coming back.
Yeah, I mean, he could be a Heisman runner too.
Yeah, that's good.
With Will Anderson, if he stays healthy, plays well, just like he did last year.
Exactly. Yeah.
So these are in no order at all, whatsoever. I think obviously, like you said, Stroud and Bryce Young, pretty much are 1 and 2, 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
I think in terms of the other 3, We mentioned it earlier. If Will Anderson has a season like that again, he will definitely be up there.
Yeah.
I think. See, there's a few names that I'm thinking of. I think one, and we saw this happen a couple years ago when what's his face on the Heisman for Alabama?
Hurts?
No, Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith, yeah.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Jackson Smith for Ohio State is a strong one if he has a season like Devontae Smith does. I think Caleb Smith is a strong one at USC with Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
I think one of Quinn Ewers or Bijan Robinson at Texas is a strong candidate.
Oh, yeah. I forgot he transferred to Texas. That's good.
I despise everyone who puts Spencer Rattler in their
no way.
I don't get what season people were watching last year.
Yeah, he got benched.
I think those are some of the stronger ones. I think when you start talking about dark horses, you have to look at any of the ACC quarterbacks, whether it's Leary or Hartman or Van Dyke or Armstrong or Cunningham, or they all one of them they're up for a major season.
Oh yeah,
I think this year, outside of Bryce Young and Stroud, there's like a lot of really good candidates coming up.
Yeah.
And so, I think there's not necessarily a higher chance that a dark horse wins it, but I think that, I think pretty much most people are expecting Stroud and Bryce Young to be there, but there might be that third person that you weren't expecting to be there is going to be there.
I think a good name, Levi, like you mentioned, is going to be Cunningham. If he tries to do the same thing that he did, I think he did it last year. I could be wrong, but he runs and throws a lot, so he could have 150 rushing yards a game with 250 to 300 passing yards a game.
Yeah, well, his issue is going to be that he is gonna, and this is gonna make or break his year. Louisville plays a hard defensive schedule. They have to play Clemson. They have to play NC State, which has a stacked defense that they're returning pretty much the entire starting roster from last year. That was already statistically top 10 last year. That they're going to get better. They're going to have to play Pitt. It's going to be a tough game in general.
I don't think Pitt defensively is that good, though, to be fair.
But it's going to be a tough game.
I mean, it'll be a tough game, but
it's going to be
it may be a very high-scoring game.
They're going to have a tough game this year when they go to Lexington for Kentucky.
Yeah.
Look, their final half of the season is home versus Pitt, a hard game. Home versus Wake Forest, really hard game. Home versus James Madison could be a hard game depending on which James Madison comes out.
Yeah.
At Clemson, really hard game. Home against NC State, really hard game, and at Kentucky. So if he wins it, if he not even win the Heisman, if he is invited, he's going to have a legendary last 6-game stretch against 6 teams that are going to give them a lot of trouble.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's not counting the at UCF second game of the season that I think that it just sounds like a game that they lose. And at Virginia, which Brennan Armstrong is back, and
that whole defense is back too, and that's a good defense of Virginia.
And Brennan Armstrong,
Now, I believe there may be more Louisville fans than Virginia fans at that game because there are only 12 Virginia fans. But
yeah, but the thing is, when Armstrong's out there and he's slinging it 60 times a game, he's throwing for 475, 35
yeah,
touchdowns.
he is. He's throwing for almost 500 yards. Yeah,
and you have to keep up with him if he's out there delivering like that. Because Virginia, we saw, is not one of those teams that you want to get down 2 possessions to.
Yeah, because they'll make you pay with Armstrong real quick. He had a great season. See if he can replicate it.
So, Cammy, who's a dark horse from the Pac-12? Since you're the only person that watches it in America.
Yeah. So
Cameron
I went quarterback
Rising
with the ACC. Yeah, exactly. Cameron Rising, I think. He's really good. I think he's going to be.
Would you say
the
he's
conversation late in the year
up the
if
board?
he can stay on schedule and win games? So going to be a key part of their season.
I'm looking at a list of potential Heisman, candidates here, and I believe only 2 are from the Pac-12. One is Cameron Rising. The other one is Jaden Daniels from Arizona State.
He's in LSU.
Yeah, he went to LSU. So
yeah.
Caleb Williams is the one.
Yeah, Caleb Williams at USC. I could see definitely being a dark horse if Lincoln Riley gets things going off the bat. It's good that he has his guy with him and Williams, so that'll be a little easier for the offense to get off the ground. He can help guys get used to it and acclimated over the offseason right now. So that's a good shot, I think, too, with Caleb Williams possibly being the dark horse. But other than that, it's slim pickings.
You know who I really like this year? And this is just a little bit of bias, just a little bit. But I think Hendon Hooker's got it this year.
Oh, I think he does too. And actually, that's a name that I probably should have brought up for Dark Horse Heisman.
Yeah,
he could definitely be a dark horse too.
No, I think he'll be invited at the very least. I don't think he wins it over Bryce Young though.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. I talked about it earlier that I don't think Arkansas is a dark horse because it was tough schedule that they play. These not even smaller schools because Tennessee and Arkansas are still comparable.
I mean, they're still SEC.
Comparable to the rest of the country, they are elite in stadium and program. But they play really tough schedules. But if Hendon Hooker or KJ Jefferson turns around and just is lights out, that makes or breaks the team and the Heisman. Because if Hendon Hooker goes out there and he, not going to happen, but if he goes out there and delivers 300 yards against Georgia, he's going to get noticed.
He'll be in the conversation immediately if he does that. So. And then, like you mentioned with KJ Jefferson just now, I have him in my Heisman race too. It'll be up to him, I think, if he'll be able to replicate the success from last year and build upon that, especially without Burks, since he's going to be a Titan next year. So,
who? Oh, KJ Jefferson.
Yeah. Burks being a Titan here, finding the way to his production and stuff. So
you get a lot of opportunity in the SEC to, boost your name because of the games such as Alabama and for a long time LSU and Florida, and you got Georgia. So you have a lot of opportunity. But then again, KJ Jefferson, if he's getting notoriety and he plays bad against one of those teams, just as high as you can go, they'll drop you down for a bad game.
Yeah,
and so
for sure. So we got to be on point.
So it's a scale, and I think that I think there's a lot of players that are really in a good spot to go higher, such as Hendon Hooker, Jefferson. Your ACC quarterbacks, Cameron Rising. But you're to get your name with Stroud and Bryce Young, you're gonna have to show consistency in 12 games, and it's just the way it's going to be this year.
Yeah, you're going to have to really.
So Hendon Hooker, I just looked up his stats from last year. He played in 13 games last year. Now he only had 303 attempts, but he had 2,900 yards, which is more than he had at Tech both years combined. He had 11 yards per attempt. He had 31 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
And in the SEC, that's insane. I think
He-
that ended up being less than Corral had.
Yeah, he had a great season, and I mean, we had talked about it. I mean, we talked about it. Me and Kraigen talked about it in the college football chat. I think Hendon Hooker's easily the most underrated quarterback in the nation.
Yeah.
And but again, you have those stats, but you got to do something to beat out Stroud or
you have to have a play. You've got to have the big
it's got to be Georgia, Alabama, Florida. Even though Florida's terrible, you're going to get notoriety for kicking the crap out of them.
If they beat Georgia or Alabama, it'll definitely get them noticed.
Oh yeah.
But that's near impossible.
Think about this. Listen to these stats, right? A quarterback that went 334 of 497, which is 67%, with 4,300 yards, 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 5 rushing touchdowns. How many years is that a Heisman winner? And he didn't even come third. It was Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. So.
I mean,
his name was being thrown around, but he hadn't had a game that really.
I mean, he was invited, but he
never really had that high moment.
47 touchdowns this season.
Yeah.
And didn't come third. Devin Leary had, 38 touchdowns, I think, last season total. And he wasn't even all ACC.
Yeah.
I mean, quarterback right now in college for this season are the best they've been in a long time. We had one of the weakest classes this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're about to hit a lot of really solid quarterback classes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even Grant Willis at Virginia Tech is gonna, do something.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah.
He'll be better than what we've had the last 4 years combined. Just
Joey,
because of who our coach has been.
Joey, if he's not better than Braxton Burmeister and Alex Kraigen, you need to shut down the program. It's just
relegate us.
Send
us back to the Big East.
Use NIL deals to recruit better.
System.
There's not that much in Blacksburg's the issue. You talk about NIL deals and stuff. Blacksburg's not this big city. It's not even close. The closest thing is Roanoke, and there's not much in Roanoke.
I don't know, man. There's the Walmart.
There's a Red Lobster too.
There's the fucking hospital that fucked up my groin injury. What's it called? Carilion.
Oh, Carilion? Yeah.
Yeah.
They do sponsor a lot of Virginia Tech stuff.
That place sucks. I went in with a full body rash, and they were like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know?
Yeah. The last 2 Heisman candidates I have are names that have been mentioned already. Will Anderson and Jackson Smith-Njigba. And then I have our dark horse in Mohamed Ibrahim from Minnesota.
Obviously, Jason isn't going to do what he did in the bowl game every game. However, you're putting games up like that, you're going to get Heisman. Regardless of who the quarterbacks are. I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah, that's Heisman talk, high first round pick. All that.
I think
getting buzzed about that. So.
I think if he has a season like that, he's easily top 5.
Yeah, definitely.
That's too good to pass up for a receiver.
How good do y'all think San Diego State does this year?
That's
I know it's a weird question, but I'm asking because that's where Burmeister went.
We're in the middle of talking about Bama. Hey, the G5 school over in California?
They could be. They do a really good job of replacing running backs and stuff.
Why did you even ask that question? What made you think of that?
Because that's where Burmeister went.
0-12. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So they start off against Arizona, and they'll, it's Arizona. So
didn't Arizona have like the longest losing home streak or something like that?
Yeah. If they don't beat Arizona, they need to fold the program because
at some point during this year, they had gone like the last time they had won at some point during the year, because they were like 0-8 again starting this year or something.
Yeah.
Like in October, November, but they hadn't won since like September of 2019 or something, or October. Yeah. Like they were on like a 2-year losing streak.
Yeah, they're very bad. Kevin
So
Sumlin completely destroyed the program.
I think that they can win that. They play Idaho State.
That's
I
an
can't
L.
imagine that they're good. You think Idaho State's good?
Yeah, we talked about this, didn't we? I believe the last time we ran the podcast, you said Idaho State was going to beat Idaho because of their quarterback or something like that.
Is one of the worst football teams in America. There's a reason they got demoted from FBS.
That was Idaho.
Idaho State lost. Yeah, they lost to Idaho 14-0. Fuck off. They suck. They didn't even score against Idaho. It's over. No.
Well, Idaho got relegated, not Idaho State.
Yeah, that's the thing. Idaho is one of the worst football teams in America, and they beat Idaho State 14-0. And then San Diego State is at Utah, so that's probably like 62-5.
5.
Nah, 5's a little generous. I'd say 0.
Then Toledo, they'll probably lose that game. At Boise State, probably a loss. Home against Hawaii, maybe a win.
Yeah, this should be a win. Hawaii's
maybe 6-6. I don't know. I don't know enough about San Diego State or the Mountain West. I do know that Fresno State's going to be good, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into the Mountain West right now, but I haven't gotten in too deep yet.
It's like a new TV series. Like, yeah.
Basically, it's on for a season.
Oh, now I remember why you jokingly said Idaho State would beat Idaho. Because they only had one win. They're like 1-9.
I found a bizarre stat from them too, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think this came up originally on that podcast because they had somebody released a football helmet and then they got fucking dogged afterwards. And I think we got to Idaho State from there.
I think that's right.
It was Idaho released this helmet and they were like, I forget what the caption was, but it was something like along the lines of like always ready or something. And against Eastern Washington, and Eastern Washington dropped like 70 on them or something.
Yeah.
They were ready for it, though.
Yeah. They were ready 70-0.
Yeah. It was 71-21. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Nice.
Yeah, Idaho State is trash. 1-10.
Yeah.
1-10. I think they had I think their quarterback had a funny name too.
No, it wasn't. I looked at that. He had some sort of crazy stats quarterback-wise, though.
He was bad.
Like he had some absurd amount of attempts, but a low amount of completions or something.
Let's see. Statistics for the 2021 year.
Let's see.
Hunter Hayes was his name. Although their third-string quarterback kind of got a badass name. Tyler Vanderwall. I like the name. I feel like that's a name that should be starting.
Let's see.
He's just ass. Like they just.
I mean, they sucked. Yeah.
They're garbage.
Yeah.
They literally had one receiver, Tanner Connor, the widest person you could think of, probably.
Had over 700 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Led the team with 4 passing or catching touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I think Vanderwall was the starting quarterback for most of the season.
Yeah, I think so too. That name sounds familiar.
Because I think that was the reason you picked Idaho State as a joke.
I don't know. I probably picked them as they're 1-9 and lost to BYU like 65-14 or something.
Yeah.
Who do y'all think will be the worst team next year?
The worst team?
Power 5. It's a pretty good record, but which one?
Vanderbilt.
Somebody said Arizona, somebody said Vanderbilt.
I said Vanderbilt.
I think y'all are both wrong.
How?
I mean, did we just forget that Duke was alive?
Yeah. That's fair.
Look, Duke was already bad. Then they lost the only coach that was ever even worth anything.
See, I thought you were going to mention Kansas, but I think Kansas wins 3 or 4 this year.
Yeah.
Yo, Kansas wins at least one. You know why? Kansas plays Duke.
Oh.
At home. They're going to win the middest of mid-offs.
Oh, they had Oklahoma on the ropes last year.
Trash versus garbage.
Oklahoma on the ropes. Come on, Joey.
It was 10-0 after the first half. Come on now.
How old are we? Last year, Oklahoma. You think that's impressive?
Is that the game? That's the game Rattler got benched in, right?
No, he was already benched. He got benched against Texas.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I think that was the game after, and Caleb Williams was not playing.
Yeah.
But got it done because of... Oh, that was a game that it was the 4th down, and the running back got stuffed, and Williams stripped his running back and ran for the first down.
Yeah. That's what happened. I remember that.
That's hilarious.
Kraigen's reenacting it right now. That's why his mic's so scuffed.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to go over?
No, I think that's good. I mean, we can start next week with the conference outlooks for each of the Power 5 and American. And then go from there and give our predictions on records and
we can work on that.
Yeah,
college
absolutely.
predictor if you want to see that.
The college football recruiter, it's working for me. You can give the prediction. You can do the predictions.
Okay, yeah, dope. I'll do it. All right. So until next week.